Yeah, right. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm not involved in any kind of verbal abuse, right? Any kind of verbal abuse. So the Clare Health Center would like to remind the public that abuse of its staff is not tolerated. Abuse of our staff and healthcare providers may result in the loss of your healthcare provider and being dismissed from the Clare Health Center clinic. For more information, please click here. And we did. And here it is. All right. So this one is a message, right? A message from Clare Health Center. So basically, it says abuse of its staff. Yelling and screaming at them is certainly not tolerated, and that's to be expected. I mean, there's no sense in yelling and screaming at anybody. Do you hear me yelling and screaming? No. So we, that they're. It says here that 5 to 10% of interactions are abusive. Well, I wonder what the reason would be for that, but I'm not there. I don't know. But see, these they felt the need to make this kind of publication and all this stuff. So let's take a look at why I am not abusing anybody. I'm not doing any kind of verbal abuse or anything like that. So I'm very respectful in every communication that I've ever did, and there would be no ground to find any kind of abuse. All right. So stating verifiable facts and making reasoned argument is not verbal abuse. Disagreeing with someone or presenting uncomfortable truth does not equate to mistreatment. So I'm not mistreating anybody here, right? So nobody's going to argue that. Just because someone does not want to hear something does not mean it is abusive to say it. Okay, the truth remains the truth regardless of how it makes people feel. So if challenging criminal this is a criminal action, unethical. And it says unethical here, but I would strongly object to this. It's not. It's past the point of, the realm of, if it's ethical or unethical. It's past that. This is a criminal act, right? So if challenging unethical or criminal actions and policies is considered abusive, then any form of criticism, no matter how justified, could be silenced under the same logic. So just go to the prosecutor and say, oh, this guy's abusive. This crown prosecutor. Let's say, for example, the crown prosecutor. Hey, this guy's abusive, right? The same idea. I'm not prosecuting an attorney or anything like that by any means, but I am just simply stating the facts of the case. What case? Well, and you have to remember, every young boy or young girl that has died is one separate crime, right? That's really important to remember. It is a criminal action. I'm just detailing the facts of the crime. There's no abuse here. There's no abuse. All right. So abuse involves personal attacks, threats, or demeaning language, presenting documented facts, logical arguments, and moral reasoning does not fall into that category. Okay. Labeling factual criticism as abuse is a deflection tactic meant to shut down discussion and avoid accountability. Very good. Now, if someone is confident in their position, that they should be able to respond with counter arguments rather than resorting to accusation of verbal abuse. Okay, sorry. If I'll read this again. All right. So if someone is confident with their position, they should be able to respond with counter arguments rather than resorting to accusations of verbal abuse to silence opposition. Right. And the real abuse is the destruction of innocent life, and not the exposure of that reality through civil discourse. And that's all I'm doing is civil discourse. And there's no abuse. There's not any kind of yelling or screaming. There's not any kind of name calling. There's not any kind of slanderous libel or anything like that, which we'll discuss in another video. This is civil discourse detailing the facts. Okay, so labeling factual statements as verbal abuse is nothing more than an attempt to silence uncomfortable truths. Abuse involves threats or personal attacks, neither of which are present here. This is a straightforward presentation of facts, and if those facts are too difficult to confront, that is not the fault of the one speaking them. If there is an error, let it be refuted with logic and evidence. But if no such refutation exists, then the real issue is not the delivering, it is the undeniable reality It is the undeniable reality being exposed, and that's absolutely true. So if there is an error, and I always said, if anybody has anything to say that can be refuted with truth, law, facts, and evidence, please, come to me and say, look, the comments are open in this thing, because I want to make sure that if there's any kind of mistakes, I want to make sure that is corrected. Thank you very much for tuning in. We are talking about the birth control, right? So the birth control will be abortifacient, and that means that it will not actually prevent the pregnancy from occurring, but rather it will kill the baby. The young boy or the young girl will be killed with these birth control pills. So the issue here is not that you're preventing the pregnancy from happening. You're not, right? These hormonal birth controls will actually kill the baby after it has already been conceived, and these are young boys and young girls being killed at the earliest stages of life. It is still a viable baby. It's a baby. It's a boy or a girl. The pregnancy is viable. And because of these death drugs that have been prescribed, then the baby will die. So that's the issue here. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video.